6 Japanese exercises that strengthen your legs quickly after 60. If you were to visit a park in Kyoto right now, you would be surprised by the number of people over 70, 80, or 90 years old walking with stability, calmness, and displaying a strength that defies their age. The fact is that Japan is the country with the highest number of active people over 80 years old. And before you think about it, no, they don't have the culture of going to the gym every day or lifting heavy weights. The focus is on practicing simple and ancestral exercises, performed day after day with discipline and consistency, making use of the tool that everyone has, their own body. Movements that strengthen the deep muscles, responsible for balance, stability, and the ability to keep you independent. Before we begin, please share in the comments your name and the city where you're watching our content from. We would love to know. Exercise number 6, horse stance. The horse stance, or kibadachi, brings extraordinary benefits for those seeking to maintain independence after 60 years old. This isometric exercise strengthens the legs without causing impact on the joints, something essential when cartilage and ligaments no longer have the same regenerative capacity as in youth. This posture intensely works the quadriceps, especially the vastus medialis and vastus lateralis, fundamental muscles for knee stability. The glutes are recruited to keep the pelvis in a neutral position, while the thigh adductors work constantly to keep the knees aligned. The entire core remains active during execution, creating a stabilization chain that starts in the feet and goes all the way to the lower back. To execute correctly, position your feet wide apart, approximately 1.5 times shoulder width. Slightly bend your knees and lower your body as if sitting in an invisible chair, keeping your spine in a neutral position. Your feet should be parallel or slightly turned outward, with weight distributed equally between both legs. Keep your abdomen contracted and shoulders relaxed, breathing normally throughout the entire execution. The main mistakes to avoid are projecting the knees forward beyond the line of the feet, excessively curving the lower back, lifting the heels off the floor, and holding your breath during the posture. For beginners over 60, start by holding the position for 10 to 15 seconds, performing 3 sets with 30 seconds of rest between them. As you develop strength and endurance, gradually increase until you can hold for 60 to 90 seconds. A valuable tip is to practice near a mirror to check your body alignment and ensure that your knees don't go beyond the line of your feet. Regarding contraindications, people with severe osteoarthritis in the knees should start with smaller ranges of flexion and always under professional guidance. Those with blood pressure problems should avoid holding their breath and monitor how the body responds to the exercise. Exercise number 5, Sampa. Sampa represents a unique approach to leg strengthening, combining physical and mental aspects in a single practice. For people over 60, the benefits go far beyond muscle strengthening, working on proprioception, that spatial perception of the body that naturally decreases with age and is responsible for a large part of falls in elderly people. This exercise uniquely works the intrinsic muscles of the feet, small muscles responsible for stability, and the plantar arch. The calves, especially the soleus, are constantly activated during the slow and controlled execution. The stabilizers of the ankle, knee, and hip learn to work in perfect synchrony, creating an efficient and safe movement chain. To execute correctly, find a hallway or space where you can walk for at least 10 to 15 feet without obstacles. Start walking at an extremely reduced speed, approximately 4 to 5 times slower than your normal speed. Focus all your attention on the sequence of foot contact with the ground. First, the heel touches the floor lightly, then the middle part of the foot rolls smoothly over the surface, and finally the toes propel the next step. Each step should last between 3 to 5 seconds. The most common mistakes include walking too fast, not paying true attention to the sensation of the feet touching the ground, allowing the mind to wander instead of maintaining focus on the movement, and leaning the trunk forward instead of keeping it upright. Start practicing for just 3 minutes daily, breathing deeply every 3 steps. As you get used to the practice, gradually increase to 10 minutes daily. An interesting progression is to practice with your eyes closed after mastering the basic technique, further increasing the proprioceptive challenge. For greater safety initially, practice near a wall or handrail that you can use as support if necessary. Contraindications are minimal, but people with severe vertigo or labyrinthitis in crisis should wait for symptom stabilization before starting the practice. Exercise number 4, Resting squat. The resting squat is perhaps the most underestimated exercise when we talk about longevity and functional independence. The benefits for people over 60 are immense, starting with the maintenance of hip and ankle mobility, joints that tend to lose range with aging. Regular practice improves balance, flexibility, and prepares the body for everyday movements like picking up objects from the floor or tying your shoes. This exercise completely works the quadriceps, responsible for extending the knee and supporting the body in the squatting position. The glutes and hamstrings work in synergy to keep the pelvis stable, while the calf muscles, especially the soleus, are fundamental for keeping the heels on the ground. The spinal erectors and the entire core remain active to keep the spine in a safe position. To execute correctly, position your feet, shoulder width apart, with toes pointing slightly outward. Slowly descend by flexing knees and hips simultaneously, keeping the spine in a neutral position. Continue descending until your glutes almost touch the floor, keeping your heels completely supported. Your arms can be extended forward to help with balance. The secret is to keep the weight distributed across the entire sole of the foot, not just on the heels or toes. The main mistakes include lifting the heels off the floor, excessively rounding the lower back, allowing the knees to collapse inward, and trying to force the complete descent before having adequate mobility. For beginners over 60, start by holding onto a stable piece of furniture or door frame as support, maintaining the position for just 10 to 20 seconds. Perform 3 to 5 repetitions throughout the day. As you develop strength and mobility, gradually increase the time until you can hold for 2 to 3 minutes without support. A valuable progression is to start with partial squats, descending only as far as you can keep your heels on the ground, and gradually increase depth weekly. Contraindications include severe knee problems such as advanced osteoarthritis or recent ligament injuries. People with hip prosthesis should consult the surgeon before practicing, as deep flexion may be contraindicated depending on the type of prosthesis. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Having constant access to science-based information is what will make you progress healthily in the long term. Exercise number 3, cat stance. The cat stance offers unique benefits for those seeking not just strength, but also refined balance and quick reaction ability. For people over 60, this exercise is particularly valuable because it trains exactly the muscles and skills necessary to avoid falls when you step on an uneven surface or momentarily lose your balance. This exercise intensely works the ankle stabilizers, including the anterior and posterior tibialis, fundamental muscles for keeping the foot in the correct position. The calves, especially the soleus in the supporting foot, are constantly activated to keep the heel elevated. The lateral leg stabilizers, such as the peroneals, work to prevent the ankle from rolling inward or outward. The entire core remains active to maintain balance, while the glutes and quadriceps of the back foot support a good part of the body weight. To execute correctly, position yourself with one foot forward, supporting only the ball of the foot on the ground, like a cat carefully testing a surface with its paw. The back foot is completely supported on the floor, bearing approximately 70% of your body weight. Slightly flex both knees, keeping the spine upright and gaze forward. Your arms can be relaxed at your sides or in a guard position if you prefer the more martial version. The most common mistakes are placing too much weight on the front foot instead of keeping most of it on the back foot, letting the front knee lock in complete extension, excessively leaning the trunk forward, and forgetting to maintain natural breathing during the exercise. For beginners over 60, start by holding the position for 20 to 30 seconds on each side, performing 3 sets with 1 minute of rest between them. Practice near a wall or furniture for support if necessary. As you gain confidence, gradually increase to 60 seconds per side. An interesting progression is to practice small weight transfers between the feet without taking the ball of the front foot off the ground, which increases the proprioceptive challenge. Contraindications are few, but people with acute plantar fasciitis should wait for inflammation to improve. Those with severe balance problems should always practice with nearby support, and preferably under supervision. Exercise number 2, single leg balance. Single leg balance may seem simple, but it's one of the most powerful exercises for maintaining independence and quality of life after 60 years old. The practical benefits are immense, starting with fall prevention, which is the main cause of fractures and loss of autonomy in elderly people. Regular practitioners develop greater confidence to perform daily activities such as stepping on stools, walking on irregular surfaces, or simply getting dressed while standing. And do you know why this happens? Because you're training exactly the muscles and systems that the body naturally uses in these situations. This exercise intensely recruits all the small stabilizing muscles of the ankle, knee, and hip that we normally don't work in conventional exercises. The calf muscles, especially the soleus, work constantly making micro-adjustments to maintain balance. The gluteus medius, one of the most important muscles for lateral pelvic stability, is strongly activated to prevent the hip from dropping to the side. The entire core remains contracted to keep the trunk stable, while the foot muscles make constant adjustments. To execute correctly, start standing near a wall or stable furniture that you can use as support if necessary. Gradually transfer your body weight to one leg, feeling the muscles of that leg activate to support all the weight. Slowly lift the other leg off the floor. It's not necessary to lift it high, just enough so it's not supported. Keep the knee of the supporting leg slightly bent, never locked in complete extension. Keep your gaze fixed on a point in front of you to help with stability. The most frequent mistakes are locking the knee of the supporting leg instead of keeping it slightly bent, excessively leaning the trunk to the side, lifting the leg that's off the ground too high, creating unnecessary tension, and holding your breath during the exercise. For beginners over 60, start by holding the position for 10 to 15 seconds with one hand lightly supported on the wall, performing 3 repetitions alternating legs. Practice daily and gradually increase the time until you can achieve 60 seconds without support on each leg. A valuable progression is to start with 2-hand support, then 1 hand, then just 1 finger, and finally without support. You can also make the exercise more challenging by closing your eyes after mastering the basic version. Contraindications include acute problems in the ankle or knee of the supporting leg. People with severe labyrinthitis should wait for stabilization. Those with excessive fear of falling should always practice with safe support nearby. Exercise number 1, calf raises. Calf raises are an exercise that seems simple but offers profound benefits for leg health and functionality after 60 years old. Strength in the calves is fundamental for practically all movements involving the legs, from walking to climbing stairs, and their weakness is directly related to greater risk of falls. This exercise directly works the 2 main calf muscles, the gastrocnemius, which is the most superficial and visible muscle, and the soleus, which lies beneath it, but is equally important for strength and stability. Both are crucial for plantar flexion, that movement of standing on your toes. The intrinsic foot muscles are also recruited to maintain balance during the movement. To execute correctly, stand with your feet shoulder-width apart. Slowly rise onto your toes, elevating your heels as high as possible while keeping your body in a straight line. Pause for 1 to 2 seconds at the top of the movement, feeling the maximum contraction in your calves, then slowly descend back to the starting position with your heels touching the floor. The movement should be fully controlled, both going up and coming down. The main mistakes include doing the movement too quickly, losing control, and proper muscle recruitment. Not rising completely onto your toes, limiting the range of motion, leaning the trunk forward or backward instead of keeping the body aligned, and not pausing at the top of the movement. For beginners over 60, start with 2 sets of 15 repetitions using a wall or stable furniture as light support. Perform the exercise daily and gradually progress to 3 sets of 20 repetitions. As you develop strength, you can execute without any support. A valuable tip is to divide the sets throughout the day, doing 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and another at night, which keeps the calves active and circulation flowing constantly. To further increase the challenge, you can execute on a step, allowing the heels to descend below the level of the toes, increasing the range of motion and muscle activation. Contraindications include acute plantar fasciitis or Achilles tendinitis in inflammatory phase. People with balance problems should always use support during execution. Those with severe osteoarthritis in the ankle should start with smaller ranges and progress gradually. Bonus exercise: dead hang. The dead hang, or passive bar hang, may seem like an exercise only for the upper body, but it brings surprising benefits for the entire musculoskeletal system, including the legs, especially for people over 60 years old. The dead hang strengthens grip, a powerful marker of longevity and overall vitality. Studies show a strong correlation between grip strength and healthy life expectancy. Although the main focus is on the forearm, shoulder, and back muscles, the dead hang also recruits the entire core to keep the body stable during suspension. The legs, although relaxed, benefit from the gentle traction that occurs throughout the posterior chain of the body, including hamstrings and calves, promoting better flexibility and circulation. To execute correctly, find a pull-up bar that supports your body weight and is at a height where you only need to slightly lift your feet off the ground. Grip the bar with a pronated grip, that is, palms facing forward, with hands approximately shoulder width apart. Let your body hang completely relaxed, allowing gravity to do its decompression work. The shoulders should naturally rise toward the ears. This is normal and correct in this passive variation. Keep your legs relaxed and together, breathing normally throughout the entire suspension. The most common mistakes are trying to actively keep the shoulders down, which removes the benefit of decompression, excessively swinging the body instead of keeping it stable, holding your breath, and trying to sustain for excessive time right at the beginning. For beginners over 60, especially if you've never done this exercise, start by partially supporting your feet on a bench or box, taking only part of your body weight off the bar. Hold for 10 to 15 seconds, performing 3 repetitions with adequate rest between them. As you develop grip strength and confidence in the movement, gradually reduce foot support until you can sustain your entire body weight. The final goal is to reach 30 to 60 seconds of complete suspension. An important tip is not to rush the progression. Grip strength takes time to develop adequately. Contraindications include rotator cuff problems or recent shoulder injuries. People with severe arthritis in their hands should start with very short times and use padded gloves if necessary. Those with herniated discs should consult a professional before starting, as in some cases, traction may be contraindicated. If you enjoyed this and want to discover other benefits that suspension exercises can bring to your body as you age, we have a video appearing right now on the screen showing each of them better. Don't miss it, because it can even help correct your posture. Thank you for watching until the end, and may God bless you, my friend.